The cat's meowing. Can you hear him? Hey guys, can you hear Stoops? Because he's meowing. I'm
Yeah.
like, I had an interview yesterday. My dog was barking. My face was just like slowly turning red. Like, if it's not a child, it's an animal. I don't know what that is. I'm so excited to be here. This is the amazing Tracy Matney. I got background noise from my YouTube. There we go. All right. As you guys are jumping on, say hey in the comments. We would love to know that you're here. Tracy's a powerhouse in the Free Mama community. So hopefully she's a familiar face and or name to you. If you have questions for her, also drop them in the chat. Who knows? I might ask them in this interview. So I'm very excited. Tracy knows this is one of my favorite things to do ever since we started doing these Free Mama Radio interviews live. It's just a super good time. So I see you guys popping on. Say hi to me in the chat. If you guys can find the chat, say hey to me. And we're going to go ahead and get started. You ready, Tracy?
Yeah, let's do it.
Awesome. Welcome to this episode of Free Mama Radio. I'm here with the amazing Tracy Matney, who I have your bio. I'm going to do your bio, but I'm going to do my intro first. Like Tracy's just good people. She really is. She's been in the Free Mama world for a while. She actually is not a graduate of the 12-week program. However, she was in the first round of the Movement Maker Accelerator. She's now a member of Inner Circle for Life. I've met her in real life, which is just like when I get to meet a Free Mama in real life, it's the best. The first time I met her, can I tell a story?
Sure.
The first time I met her in real life, she said, Lauren, I actually feel a little guilty. I never bought your course because I've started freelancing and I'm doing this thing. And she brought me a gift. And I know if you're listening right now on the podcast, you can't see me, but I'm wearing it. It's like this little blankety shawl thing. You've probably seen it because I have it all the time. Anyway, that was from the amazing Tracy the first time I met her. And it was a gift, I think, of guilt and gratitude that she had not enrolled in my course. So that's how we met. If you don't know Tracy, she is known in our community as a Facebook ads and chatbot expert. She's also the CEO of Victory Points. Tracy and her team, and I want to talk about that because she's built a beautiful agency for herself, help businesses get more fans for their brand, grow their impact and influence, and automate their marketing to ultimately increase sales. Do you guys hear the return on investment in that pitch, by the way? This is why this girl is good at sales and good at making money, because she knows what the entrepreneur is looking for. She is celebrating her 10th wedding anniversary this month. They just went on a trip, which is just so exciting for me. I love when I see people taking trips with their spouses, knowing that the gift of freelancing and starting their own business let them do that. She's the mama of a rambunctious little 4.5-year-old. She's also a foodie and fellow dancer. I love that you said fellow dancer, like you knew I was reading it and I'm a dancer and you're a dancer. Tracy, welcome to Free Mama Radio.
Thanks for having me. I had to put that in there about dancing because we have some drill team similarities. So I'd love to get together and do some high kicks someday with you.
Well, I don't know how high my kicks go anymore. My flexibility is not, even though I do still do the yoga, which helps a little, but I'm not what I once was, but I do still have the VHS of me dancing in the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade.
What year?
Yes. 2003.
That's funny.
Is that the same?
I don't know what year it was, but I was in high school at the same time as you, and I was in it too. We wore the 50s, yellow, blue, green, pink.
So I was in a red, white, and blue, America.
Okay, so it was a different year, but that is so funny.
All right, fellow dancer. I love it. So this is how we bond, right? So when you guys think personal brand, you got to get to know your clients. It's not just what their business is. It's do I jive with this person? We actually spoke about that on a coaching call yesterday. Well, Tracy, tell us a little bit about your background. I know you pretty well, but some people listening right now might be meeting you for the very first time. What were you doing pre Free Mama?
Right before I became a Free Mama, and I'm still considered a Free Mama, even though I don't have the t-shirt. I was
make that happen.
I know. I'm I don't have the t-shirt, but I consider
give you a blanket. Give me a t-shirt. I hear you.
No, I just I still consider myself a Free Mama. So right before that, I actually saw your Facebook ad and I watched your webinar and all that. But what I was doing in that moment was literally Googling everything, trying to figure out how to work from home because I was working from home. I had a job as a sales rep for a company. I was a marketing sales person, but I was getting paid hourly, and I was pregnant. and I was just about to have my son, and I was trying to figure out, okay, when I'm like a mom, like, how am I going to do this? Because I'm going to have a baby. And my boss told me very clearly, you are not allowed to have him anywhere near you, because I was on the phone all day. So he's like, that would sound really unprofessional if there was like a crying baby and they think they're calling a corporate office. So, because they were calling like a 1-800 number. So it made sense from a business corporate perspective, but it also really sucked to hear that. And so at that moment, I was like, okay, I have to figure this out. And I'm very money motivated. I wanted to work hard, but also work smart. I didn't want to have to work 80 hours a week to make more money. And in that job, isn't as awesome. And my boss was really cool. As awesome as he was, the only way for me to really grow was to work more hours. And that didn't make sense. So I started kind of figuring that out.
Okay, I'm super fascinated by something you just said. I just wrote it down. So you said money motivated.
Mhm.
And I mean, I'm also money motivated. I'm also impact motivated. I know you are as well. What does that mean to you? Because I think, and I don't want to go down it too. I know sales is something you're excellent at. I don't necessarily want to go down that full path, but I would argue like a lot of free mamas are or think they are money motivated, right? Like they have the desire for money. That's what brings them into the community, is they want to learn how to make money from home. And yet so many of them are hesitating to do the things they need to do to actually bring in money. So what does that mean to you to be money motivated? And how do you think that plays a role in the success that you've had? Because spoiler, you guys, she's made hundreds of thousands of dollars in the last few years in her agency. Like she's doing the thing, and it's not easy, but it's maybe easier than we let it be. So what does being money motivated mean to you? And how do you think that that's helped you get to where you are today?
Sure. Well, my degree is actually in sales. I didn't really talk about before I found you, but I actually studied sales, like professional selling in college. And for many years, I did different sales jobs, and they make you do these assessments to try to figure out like what motivates you. And I remember taking this class. It was a sales management class. So it was like, as a manager, I'm like 22 years old trying to learn about sales management, which is like, didn't make sense at all in college. But I'm like, how are people motivated? And I remember like taking an assessment of myself, and we had to do this simulation. And there's different people are motivated by like free time, or like trips, like if you're a sales manager in a company and you're trying to manage salespeople, me for sure, like it was bonuses. Like I was a server at Texas Roadhouse, and I wanted to win every one of those contests, because it meant like I got to get like an extra $20 gift card that night for selling more steaks than everybody or whatever. And so I found myself always being money motivated. So I think that's what it means to me, is that I know like I'm going to do the thing because that's going to make money. And I thinking about that out loud, it feels like a coaching session right now. Thinking about that out loud, I'm like, that doesn't feel good to say, but I think about it also, like money does a lot of things for our family. It allowed my husband and I to leave our jobs, to leave our businesses. He has a business too, to be able to go to Aruba for our 10th anniversary. Like money provided that. And we didn't have to stress while we were there. On other vacations, I used to be like pinching pennies and like making sure like we didn't overspend. And it was really freeing to be able to like actually enjoy each other without the stress of money. And so to me, that's what it motivates me.
Well, I don't think the implication is like that you're greedy, because, we know money doesn't buy happiness. It buys us choices. And part of those choices is being able to take a vacation. It's also being able to give back. It's being able to hire your team. Like you now have staff that you pay, like you help them provide for their families. Like it's a beautiful thing. The point that I was wanting to emphasize was your first point, is like, when I know what the motivation is, I'm willing to do what it takes. And I think that's the part that, we think we want to start a business because we want money, and we do, we need it. We got to pay the bills and whatever. But I love this concept of like really learning what motivates you, because if you're not money motivated and you're not doing the thing you need to do, you've got to figure out what's going to motivate you to do the thing you need to do, because putting yourself out there is hard. Like up leveling is scary. Like all these things are hard. And I watch you do it, not perfectly, because nobody's perfect, and not effortlessly, because I know you work really hard, but you're very determined. And so it's interesting to hear, to kind of go with this money motivated. I just found that really fascinating. So when you found the Free Mama, did you start freelancing before or after? How did
I think around the same time. And okay, this is the weirdest thing. And you might remember this from when we did the Movement Maker, but someone had asked me to do a resume for them, for a paid resume. And I was like, I've been doing resumes for people for like 8 years. Like, I'll do your resume, $30. I don't know. And then it took me 3 hours and I was like, dang it. Like, I was getting paid $30 an hour at my job. So I was like, I thought it would take me an hour. It took me 3 hours. So I was like, okay, so I'm going to charge more next time. So then she referred me to a friend, and that friend I charged $50. And she said yes. So then she referred me, and then so it just kind of happened. So I don't know if that's considered freelancing. I mean, I think it is.
Yeah, you started this journey of self-employment.
Yeah. Well, and so I started like coaching people on interviewing, because people are really bad at interviewing the more I learned about that. So I was like, okay, I'm going to do this little business. And so I created my first website. It's still up. You can go to tracymatney.com. Maybe someday it will turn into a different website, but right now it's all about interview coaching. I made like a little ebook and all that. So when I found you, I bought the Quick Start program that you offer. It's like a little small pieces of your big course. And I was like, okay, what can I gather from Lauren? Because like I said, I was money motivated. And that time I was like, I don't know, like, what am I going to do? And so I was really hesitant. So I got your Quick Start, and actually really helped me be like, okay, I could do social media management, because my husband was like, I think you'd be good at social media. And so I bought a Ty Lopez course, which I'm like, okay, I don't know if I regret, but I don't like to have any regrets, but that was not a good course. I'm sorry, Ty Lopez, if you're listening, but the course was super outdated. It was very frustrating, but it talked about Facebook ads. And so I was like, okay, I liked social media. I could just post for clients. So I started just telling everybody. I started telling friends like, hey, I do social media. They knew I had a marketing and sales background. So it didn't seem too out of the blue, because it was skills that I already kind of had. I just had to learn the technical part. And so I got a couple clients, and one of my friends had this Facebook ads opportunity. She was like, I know you said you want to learn Facebook ads, and I have this networking group that's dying. It was like an in-person networking group. She was like, can you like run some ads and like help us get more members? And we did. And she gave me like $1,500 for 2 months. So $750 a month was pretty good for me at that point. So I was like, sweet, I'll try it. They were basically just going to take whatever money they had in the fund and donate it and dissolve. So it was either last ditch effort or continue. And she was like, our goal is to get 5 new members, and then we'll be able to stay. And so we did. Like, we ran Facebook ads. I took what I learned and trial and error and figured it out. And from there I was like hooked on Facebook ads, because they spent money and they made money. And I was like, wait, I can like prove that the money they spent turned into money they made. And so that's why I really went down the path of Facebook ads.
I mean, God bless America. I am here for this all day, every day. I hope that people are listening. We're going to unpack this for a second, because you talk about some things that, I've coached a lot of women at this point, and you just like glaze through some stuff that for some people, it takes them months, if not years, to push through. So I don't know if you know that like you have these superpowers, but you do. But I want to point out what you've done that's really awesome. So she started with the low-hanging fruit, right? Like, people are asking for her help with these resumes. Like, she almost created a whole business out of it. Like she said, the website's still there. She might go back to it, but like, that was the low-hanging fruit. It was right there in front of her. She didn't charge enough, but she didn't stress out for 6 months going, I don't know what to charge for a resume, so I'm just going to sit here and post on the internet and wait. And I don't know. Like, she just did it. And she did it imperfectly, right? Like, she got a little screwed over. She worked harder than what she got paid for, but she didn't beat herself up. She learned the lesson. She charged more next time. Then she started following the breadcrumbs, right? Like, if we look back, it's that like hindsight's 2020, like everything that happened from the Free Mama to leading you to social media management, to the course you bought that wasn't good, which, by the way, even though it didn't teach you everything you wanted to know, Tracy, it still probably taught you a lot in terms of, number one, it pointed you in the next pivot. But number two, it's probably contributed to your standard of excellence. I know when I do things that I'm like, that was not good, it makes me do better, because I'm like, that is not my standard. Like, that was not helpful. And so it makes me better even when I experience things. I mean, even though it's frustrating, but it makes me better. So then the breadcrumb, right? The social media management, but you're talking about it. Again, you glazed over this so like effortlessly of like, the only reason you were invited to talk at the networking group, Tracy, is because you were telling people what you were doing with social media management, which again, sometimes this takes people months to get work through mentally because we want it to be perfect from the beginning. Has your journey been perfect?
No. And I should say that didn't all happen in 30 days either. You know, that was like May till about August.
Girlfriend, that's pretty good. Okay. That we call these many a free mama win. Give yourself a pat on the back. Like that's amazing. So then the social media, you didn't love the whole thing, but you got excited by the ads. How did we go now from, and by the way, and I said this at the beginning, I want you guys to listen. Part of the reason, yes, Tracy has a background in sales. I understand this. You too can learn to be better at sales. But more than that, the reason that I think Tracy, one of the reasons that Tracy is very successful and her agency is successful is because she looked for something not only that could be high ticket. And had you ever run Facebook ads before you learned Facebook ads in the last few years?
No.
So this isn't something she's known for forever. She's taught herself in the last few years how to do it and honed her craft. She picked something high ticket, meaning she can charge a lot of money for it. But you also were very like conscientious of like, there is a trackable return on this. And the reason that that's valuable is because your clients will keep coming back when they know that you're contributing to the bottom line of their business. They can see it. It's tangible. So there's so much value in there. Now, I know that you also do bots, obviously. How did you tell us about that part of your story? How did you go from Facebook ads to bots? And if this kind of is in the same breath, if it's not, you can break it up. When and how did you know that you were going to go the agency route? Like, when did you stop freelancing and go, okay, I'm going to need some help? How did that look for you?
Oh my goodness. Okay. Can we go back a little bit farther to Mary Kay?
Oh man. Okay.
I said I did not ever want to build a team. That was one thing I didn't like about Mary Kay was like, I could sell a bunch of makeup and whatever, but like, I didn't want a team. I didn't want to recruit people. And so,
kind of the only way to make a lot of money in that industry, but
yeah. And so that was hard for me, I think, because I was like, man, like, I just want to sell. Like, I just love selling. And I like talking to people and I didn't necessarily want to build a team. So it's hard for me to answer your last question last, because I was like, I want to say that. But going back to when I started doing Facebook ads, I actually have a lot of experience in the restaurant industry. And so like my very first job, I was a hostess and a server and I was a line dance coordinator for Texas Roadhouse. So I loved the restaurant experience. So one of the things, okay, so I didn't get nothing from Ty Lopez. So one of the things he talks about is just physically going into businesses. And I did that. So he was like, just go into a business and just talk to people. I'm like, I can do that. I did that all the time. After college, I worked for Sam Adams. So I called on bars and restaurants, selling them beer. So it was like not hard for me to just walk in and be like, hey, where's the owner? Like that wasn't a big deal for me. And so I went to restaurants. And so I'll go to restaurants. I'd be like, hey, what are you struggling with? Like, I know like your social media, you haven't posted in like 2 weeks, do you need help with your social media? And so I discovered this guy who was doing mini chat bots. And I was like fascinated because he sent me a demo and this guy's not even in the bot industry and he's not even doing business anymore, or I would mention his name, but he sent me this demo and I was like, this is so cool. Like the way that a chat bot just interacts with somebody.
Can you tell everybody what it is in case they
don't? So it's just a pre-written automated conversation. So, you and I are just having a conversation. It flows naturally. We might interrupt the other and that's normal. And, there's a pause and you ask a question, I respond. That's what a conversation is. And it seems silly to define a conversation, but that's different than like if you write a giant email or a sales page that has a whole bunch of information at once. So in this way, we're saying one thing, I'm asking you to respond, you respond, then I respond. So we do that in Messenger and pretty soon Instagram. So that's exciting.
And if somebody wants to see your work, they can go meet Susie, right?
They should go meet Susie. Yeah.
Susie's the free mama bot. You guys can go check her out.
Yes. And Lauren is on the hopeful beta list for the Instagram bots as well. So that'll be exciting. And the thing is like, I'll tell you what a bot is not, because I think that's important. It's not like to replace Lauren's conversations. It's not to like ignore the whole human experience. It's not pretending it's a human at all. The goal of a chatbot is just to get people information really fast. So I like to tell the story about why I like restaurant bots, is because I always say the other day, 2 years ago, probably now, my husband and I went out to dinner in another town. That's how my son talks. My 4-year-old's like, last week, and he's talking about like 6 months ago. Yeah. Okay. So 2 years ago, my husband and I were going to this restaurant, and it was like 45 minutes away. And then after dinner, we wanted to go to this new place where they make like dessert, but it's like pie in a ball. It's like, I don't know, delicious. And so I messaged their page because I couldn't find their hours anywhere, and I couldn't find their hours anywhere on their website. And let's be honest, I didn't try that hard. I glanced because that's what most people do. And so I sent them a message and I said, hey, are you open right now? Because it was like 8 o'clock at night. And I didn't get a response until the next day. And so it was a good 10 minutes away. So we didn't go there. And the next day they responded. They were like, oh yeah, we're up until 10 p.m. And I'm like, you guys just lost a customer because you didn't get me the answers quick enough. People want decisions. They want answers really fast. And so a chatbot, if I type the word hours, could just automatically respond with, hi, we're open from this time to this time, and just have the hours. So that's like standard chatbot. If you want to build chatbots for clients, just build an autoresponder that has really helpful information, hours, directions, the phone number, the website, the menu. If we're talking about a restaurant, that's just like standard, easy chatbot to build. Someone says a word, they get a response. And so once I started doing that for restaurants, I was like, I wonder if I could figure out a way to get people through the door, like actually bring them customers. And this demo that he sent me had like a little coupon thing. So I was like, wait, so a customer can get a coupon in Messenger, and then they can actually redeem it in the restaurant. And so I started developing the system. This was like January 2019. So I started developing this system, and I was like, someone could get a buy one, get one free barbecue. This was I sold this client, and he was like, sure, I'll try it. And I did a month for free. I think it's important for people to hear, like, I didn't just like straight out the gate start charging $5,000 a month, like I did it for free for a month. And I said, hey, if you make X amount, will you pay me for 3 months, my regular price, which at that point it was $1,000 a month. And he was like, sure, if I sell $3,000, that'll be a good return on investment, because in restaurants they have food costs and whatever. So we did. And he did. He made like $4,000 in the very first month of doing it. I was like hooked. I was like, okay, I just proved to this guy that my work made him $4,000. I was like, and I proved it to myself. Yes, true. And so I was like, I went like all in on restaurants at that point. So I was like, I'm just going to go help more restaurants, and then I had a case study. That guy's still one of my case studies. He's still like, I made a video with him, and now I show that to people. And it's just really exciting.
Okay. So then how did we evolve? Okay. We're doing restaurants. We learned about mini chat. We're totally hooked. We're in Mary Kay the other day, years ago, and we didn't want a team. When did you know that you were going to build an agency?
Around that time, actually. So around then I realized, like, I knew that people were talking about hiring assistants, like a VA. And I was like, what's a VA? Like, that's so interesting. And like, I think that because in your world, in the free mama world, you don't really refer to it as a VA, I didn't really know what that was, but I knew that I didn't want to be doing everything, because remember, I like talking to people. So if I was going to be doing all the day-to-day stuff, that was going to recreate for me what I had before in my other job. And so I was like, okay, how can I hire somebody? So someone recommended I go and hire a virtual assistant to help me build the bots. So I did. And at that point I had bought a course from Matt Plapp. He's like a restaurant guru. It was a great course. And I kind of honed my like bot skills. And I had she still works with me. Bless her, she's amazing. She went through the course too. And so she started like implementing. So I would go out and sell, and then she would help me build the bots. And at this point, she knows more about ManyChat and automation than I do. And so it's kind of embarrassing to say that, but also like, it's kind of freeing to be like, Like when I'm on a call with a client now and they ask me questions, I'm like, you know what? Let me talk with my technical director, because Sarah is in this day to day. She's keeping up with everything. Yeah. And that's all she does is automation. And so I think of like the high level journey, the strategy, like what are we going to do? And my team now, I have 7 people on my team now that all work on all the different points. So we have a copywriter on our team, a graphic designer. We have Sarah is our automation director. And then my newest hire is a fellow free mama, Brittany Johnson. She's our operations director. So she's making sure all those parts and pieces are working. Because something I've learned about myself through like accidentally, I call it an accidental agency. Like I wasn't planning. It wasn't like, I'm going to start a Facebook ads agency. That was not it. I was just like, I'm going to be a freelancer and I need some help. And then I need some more help and some more help. And so I don't actually like managing people. I don't. And so I hired an operations person to manage the team so that I could do what I'm best at, which is selling, building relationships, and strategy.
I love this so much. I'm so proud of you. It has been amazing to get to watch you grow and evolve. And I'm just so proud of you. If you could go back and give yourself, like at the very beginning of like the free mama, like, you know, you saw a webinar, you're like, oh, I think I maybe could do that. Like if you could go back and give yourself a piece of advice then, what would that be? Because I think that's where a lot of our listeners are. They're at the beginning of your journey.
Well, I think a lot of people, if I would give them advice, I would tell them to just go talk to more people. That's what I would say. I didn't have that problem. I just talked to people. But that's, I think, the biggest hang up that I see in the community is people are like, I've talked to like 4 people and nobody's buying. I'm like, go talk to like 400 people.
Yeah. Oh no, like, I want to get into that. Don't worry.
Yeah.
We're not done here.
I don't know, because I don't like to have regrets. So I'm like, I think I went through my journey. I mean, I'm having trouble with this one. I am short on words.
Trust the process, Tracy. Keep going.
Goodness gracious. You asked me a hard question. I don't know. I think maybe I would have let go of the resume sooner, you know, because I was holding on to that for like a year. Because when I started the Movement Maker Accelerator, that was a year in. And I remember doing the call with you to do it. And you were like, you got to choose one. And you made me pick, do I want to go like create a whole business around resume and interview coaching, and maybe that could still be a possible business someday. And then the other side of it was the social media, Facebook ads, bots. You made me pick one. And so I decided to just get rid of the resumes at that point and go down. So I think that's probably, I would have just gotten a little more focused a little bit sooner.
I think that's good advice. You know, there's a lot of multi-passionate people inside the Free Mama. I'm like a pretty laser focused person, but I'm married to a multi-passionate entrepreneur. And I think that it's important to know that you can do multiple things, but you can't do them all well at the same time with the same level of impact. Unless you have a lot of capital to hire people and have people managing it. I think that's good advice. All right. Well, typically the way we end Free Mama Radio is that I ask for 3 tips based on your niche or area of expertise, but I don't want to do that with you. Is that okay?
Okay.
What I want to do instead, because I think you are such a wealth of knowledge, I still want 3 tips because I'm all about action taking tips. You know this, but I actually have 3 different questions based on things that I think you would really help our listeners with. So the first, and that's why I cut you off earlier. The first is, what is your best tip for free mamas who want to go out and pursue local businesses?
You just should go talk to people. You're going to mess up. You're going to say the wrong thing. They're going to roll their eyes at you. They're going to lie to you and tell you the owner's not there when really he's there. That's okay. Just be like, yes, I just got another no, because that means I'm closer to a yes. And I didn't really get into this, but I sold books door to door. We did 2,000 sales conversations that summer. And on average, I would close between 1 and 4 a day out of 30. So we had to do 30 demos every day. I would get 1 to 4 sales. That means 26 or more people told me no. Okay, so if you haven't gotten your no reps in, you just need to go talk to more people.
Get your no reps in. That's good.
It feels good. That was all. There you go. Yeah, you should. I think it felt good to be like, this is a good thing. And I learned that when I was selling books, because the Southwestern company is a 150-year-old company. They've been teaching people how to sell stuff door to door since like the olden days. They sold encyclopedias, and now they sell like a digital subscription. Anyway, it's a really cool company, and they do a great job with sales training. And one of the things they talk about is really just sales mindset, and just like pumping yourself up before you go talk to people, being like, what they say does not affect who I am.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, that's so good. Yeah. Learning not to take it personally. You got to get your no reps in to be able to get that thicker skin. Okay. The second tip I want from you, what is your best sales tip? Maybe like on the actual closing, like not learning to say no, not approaching people. I don't know. I'll let you take it where you want. What's your best sales tip?
I think starting the conversation better, because a lot of people just kind of wing it and they just go into a conversation like, I don't know what's going to happen. We're just going to talk and see how it goes. And then at the end, there's not like a proper expectation for what's going to happen at the end. So what I like to do in my sales calls is actually set the stage in the beginning. So you're like, hey, we have 30 minutes here together and we're going to talk about your business and learn a little bit about your goals. And at the end, if we feel like we're a good fit to work together, I'm going to offer you some packages. And if you feel like those are good, is this something that you can make a decision on, or do you need somebody else here with you? Actually, that was like 4 tips in one. So just like write that down and
that was good. I'm gonna put that on the back of the t-shirt. And then like the whole copy. We'll send it out to everybody.
Yeah. So just to summarize though, is like setting the stage for the call, like giving them an understanding of what's going to happen. And then at the end, like telling them that what's going to happen at the end, so that they're not like, oh, we're at the end now and you're telling me it's $2,000 and you're like, I don't know. I wasn't planning. I was just wanted to chat with you. Like, you don't want that to happen, because then they're going to ghost you and you're going to be awkwardly following up. So if you say like at the end, if I feel like we're a good fit to work together, I'm going to offer you some of my packages. And if we feel like it's a good fit, is this something you can make a decision on today? That's going to tell you a lot. And it's a scary question to ask, because they might go, oh no, like I'm not planning on making any decisions. I've got 3 other people I'm interviewing. And then you're like, okay, that gives me some good information. So now you're like, what are you looking for? That kind of drives the conversation. And then if they're like, oh yes, I need this problem solved today. And you're like, great. So at the end, I'll offer you that.
That's awesome. That was gold, guys. We got our live listeners are very excited about what you're sharing. Okay, the third question that I want to ask. Do you like that? I'm like extracting this right now. The third tip that I would love for you to give people is, because you have done this so many times in your journey. Like, you're 3 years, right? Are you like right at exactly about 3 years in your business?
Yeah. 3 years since. Yeah.
Yeah. So 3 years in, you run an entire agency. You've made over 6 figures. You have a team and you provide a service that you didn't know how to do 3 years ago. Like, that is so cool. I'm so excited for you. So what is your best tip for learning a new skill?
Is it okay if I repeat myself? You just have to do it. Like, you just have to do the skill and not do it well and just do it better this next time. Yeah. You know, the first time I ran Facebook ads was for that networking group. And the first ad I ran did okay, but it didn't actually get any customers. I mean, this is like quick, fast learning, because I literally had 2 months to save their networking group. So I was like, I wasn't just going to let it go for 2 months and then be like, well, it didn't work. I was just like, let me figure this out. So then I sat there and I created another ad. And then that one kind of worked better. And then I created another ad and it was like killing it. So I kept that one on. And then you just have to keep doing it. So if it's a chatbot, you build a bot for somebody and maybe you do it for $500. And then you like take that bot and recreate it and do it again, but do it better. And I think that's how you get better. I mean, I've bought courses from different people, plenty of courses I've not actually ever opened, and shame on me for that. But I think just doing it and just continually learning. Like, I love to learn. I love to figure out new things. I mean, someday chatbots aren't going to exist. Someday, heaven forbid, Facebook ads might not exist. And that doesn't mean, like, I think I had a little freak out moment a little while ago with you when this whole iOS thing's happening. I'm like, what's going to happen? Like, I'm like, it's okay. I'll figure it out. My clients are still going to need customers. Yeah, and they're going to come to me.
We're not worried about it.
Yeah. They're going to come to me and go, Tracy, what are we doing? And then I'm going to be their go-to person. Yeah. And so learning, always getting better, and not being so like, I have to get this perfect the first time.
I love that. That's so good. Well, you have a couple resources. You've got a Facebook ads course, you've got bot templates, all that stuff. Do you want to talk a little bit about, for anybody who wants to get into this same world that you are working in, tell us a little bit about those, and then we'll link to them in the show notes as well.
Sure. I created the Facebook ads basics course like out of necessity. Like I wasn't going to be like a course creator yet. I was like, I'll do that someday. Right now I'm focusing on my clients and my agency. But I had so many people come to me that were like, oh, I can't like afford to hire you to do this for me. I want to learn how to do it, or I want to do it for my clients. So out of necessity, I just started recording like how-to videos and would send them to people. So then I started training my team on creating some SOPs in my agency. So now I have this Google Drive that has all these videos in order, like step by step what you should do. And so I just packaged that up into a course. And so, yeah, we can link to that. And it's called a Facebook ads basics course because it starts at the foundation, like how to create an ad account, how to create your audiences, what is an objective, what are all these different things you need to learn. And so you can buy that course. And I've actually, a lot of free mamas have gone through it for themselves or for their own clients. So
that's awesome. So you guys can head over to freemamaradio.com and check out the links to those if you guys want to learn from Tracy. She's clearly very, very good at what she does. I have one last question for you. I ask this to all of our guests. Because you are a free mama, we'll get you that t-shirt. Jordan, get her a t-shirt. We'll get you a t-shirt. The mission of the Free Mama is to make sure no mother has to choose between family and financial stability. Knowing all of the, just show-stopping, brilliant advice that you have given today. Is there anything else that you would want to tell our listeners that you haven't already gotten to share?
Yeah, just don't let yourself get in the way. Just go talk to people. And I can't remember to repeat myself because I think the biggest thing is like, you just have to go fumble forward and just go talk to people and it's going to be okay. And whether that's talking to your current boss or talking to your husband about boundary issues with you trying to run your business, like all those things, like if you just talk to people about it, even if it's not perfect, it'll work out. The more you just keep it to yourself and don't talk, it's not going to work out.
I have 3 solid t-shirt ideas out of this call. We're doing fumble forward, money motivated, get your no reps in. Guys, we'll get that new Free Mama swag shop up soon in conjunction with Team Victory. It'll be amazing. Tracy, thank you so much for getting up super, super early to meet with me and be on Free Mama Radio today. I'm super grateful. And I know everybody listening has been touched by your wisdom as well.
Thank you. I would do anything for you, Lauren.
Oh, that's so sweet. All right.
I would not have said yes to 6:30 in the morning just for anyone.
Yeah. Just so you guys know, we are recording this. It's a solid 9:15 for me, but she got up even earlier to be here at 6:30. Guys, if you enjoyed today's episode, tag us, share it on social media, tag Tracy, check out those show notes so you can get her course, her templates, all those cool things. We'll put everything we talked about over on freemamaradio.com.